What is going on, listeners?
How's everybody doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well.
Yeah.
I would do even more better if you would tell me about this wonderful app we're using.
I think you might be to put a little much on it, but okay. Let me tell you about this wonderful app we're using. We're using Anchor.
Anchor.
And if you don't know what Anchor is, if you've ever wanted to do a podcast, listen to podcasts, want to start a podcast, want to do a podcast with your friends, Anchor is the best place to get started. Point blank, period. Because number one,
it is free, guys.
Free 99er.
Absolutely free.
Can't beat free.
No, can't beat it.
And
all.
I mean, there's a creation tool, helps you record and edit right from your phone or computer, however you feel like it, so you can get it just the way you like it. If you don't have, all the equipment, it's not going to stop you from recording or creating a podcast. That's all yours. Right?
Right.
Yeah, love the input. Anchor will also help distribute your podcast so it can be heard just about anywhere, such as
Spotify,
and
Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Podbean.
Yeah, that's a good one that you just learned today.
Or wherever you listen to your podcast
wherever.
at, you can find Date Night on there.
Ooh, nice plug. And you can monetize your podcast, no minimum listenership. Start making that good old money just for having people, listen to your podcast, your thoughts that probably no one else should ever hear. But, hey, that's what podcasts are for, right?
Right.
It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. So if I were you, I would go ahead and download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. That's anchor.fm. Where's it at, babe?
Anchor.fm.
Start your podcast today.
Hey. Hello, everybody, and welcome to
Date Night.
Yes, Mr. Bush is still away, but we have our co-host.
Our resident
our
co-host.
temporary co-host.
Back in the hot seat. Thanks for having me once again.
Oh, thanks for joining us. Well, thanks for joining me.
Well, right. He's here in spirit.
Right? Exactly. So we have a movie you picked.
Yeah, I did. My idea behind picking this movie was like, since I knew it was going to be me and you, and we don't have the male dynamic. I thought, okay, so kind of a chick flick, if you will. I don't watch many chick flicks, so it was
neither do I.
Therefore, it was a little hard to pick, so it kind of came down to what hadn't I seen. And remember, I sent you the list. See what we didn't see, what each of us hasn't seen, because I thought it would be better if we both hadn't seen it, so we can have our true initial reaction. So that was what was behind it. There was no science.
All right. So, how did you feel about a little short snippet of how you felt about this movie before we get right into it?
Well, okay, if I have to use one word, I would definitely say disturbed. just overall in concept. I guess partially because this is based on true events.
About the what they were doing?
Yeah, what they were doing, and I guess the tone of the movie almost made light of it in a way. It was like, okay, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just felt like, and I felt like the movie made you, I guess it's like, were we supposed to feel that they were victims in a way? You know what I mean? Not not literally, but at the end of it, it's
how
like,
it's just like,
you're
like
are we
she
cheering
says,
them on?
exactly.
I'm like, I'm a little.
And I feel like in the movie too, they try to convince you, like, no, it's okay because of this and that, and it's just like, but is it?
Yeah, exactly. It's like everything in me just tells me this is not right. Yeah. So it was interesting. It was interesting. I mean, it's like I wouldn't write home about it. You know what I'm saying? But it was something to see.
Yeah.
So
I was a bit confused. I'm not like to me the storytelling wasn't very good. I felt like they like rushed into it without giving enough details for anything, because they do just like jump right into everything. So it was just a little like,
it's like they tried to pull you backwards in a way.
Yeah, but without telling you that, because you don't even find out the story is being told until
down the line. Right, exactly. So yeah, that was another interesting choice for whoever made the film, the director or whoever. Is just like, okay.
Well,
I know J-Lo,
it said Will Ferrell.
Really? That might make some of the tone make sense. In light of now looking at it, I could, okay. I didn't even recognize the Will Ferrell
Yeah,
part.
because I was like looking it up, and it was like directors, J-Lo, Will Ferrell, and I was just like, it was a couple other people on there, but
that might put things into perspective. if you watched movies, especially that he had heavy involvement with, that were very interesting, like movies that had stories that didn't necessarily have to be funny, but yet there was funny in it, kind of like you ever seen Stranger Than Fiction?
No, I haven't seen that movie.
You got to see that one. I'm going to have to do that one day. I'm going to throw that in there when y'all ask for a request. But, it's Will Ferrell, and it's that kind of, sometimes he does stuff direct comedy, just straight crazy slapstick comedy. But then sometimes you got stories like this, and it's doing something weird. But you got regular people with weird things happening. And you're trying to, create the story, and there is funniness in there, but the real events of what's happening, not necessarily so. So I think that might explain
how why it was like that.
Yeah. So
all right, so let's dive right into this.
So funny. I'm looking at your notes. I'm like. Yeah, because I know you'll refer, you'll be like, well, in my notes, sometimes I'm like, I'm not sure. Okay, I'm just going to write something here just in case I forget. Just to know, I'm like, this is not the note. I'm not going to say what I wrote, but I want to write this so I'll remember something about,
Yeah.
But I'm sure I don't have this professionalism that you guys have.
No, with this movie, I honestly just tried to remember, like, what was going on. Like, that's how these notes are, like, bullet points. Okay, now we're here. We're here.
Yeah.
But
yeah, because you can see you guys are good at guiding the detail through the scenes, and that's good. You can help me, because I'm like, I'll color outside the lines, and I'm gonna be over here, and I'm like, I want to stick with it, because there was a lot going on.
It really was. But it's funny, because that's what I was thinking when I was taking notes. I'm like, well, it's okay now. Lita has it. She got it. She'll give me the go.
We will see.
Oh yeah. So we start off. It's 2007. It was at a strip club, and we just see a bunch of women getting ready, I guess, to go out and perform. Then we get to the main character, which I was so confused what her name was through this whole movie, because I heard May, then I heard Dorothy, then I heard Destiny.
The funny part was, because at first I put Dorothy, and then you can see, because it's a different color, I went back in and put Destiny on it. It's like, wait, did I miss something?
Right? Like, what is her name?
Yeah, that was.
When her grandma said Destiny, I was like, okay, her name is Destiny.
But her grandmother said Dorothy in the beginning.
Oh, did she?
That's where I got Dorothy from at first.
I don't know where I got May from.
I
kept hearing May.
They were throwing in names too. Remember? Oh, see, that's why we got
it was a lot.
And see, that was the one. It was too many names. Everybody had so many names thrown out there, to the point where certain characters, I'd be like, in my notes, the character that's Kiki Palmer. 'Cause I was like,
Oh,
what
I
was her
didn't
name?
even know their names.
Oh, she was. Wait, I did finally get her name. She was. Dang it, I got it down though. I have to go down. I know J Lo was Ramona. Mercedes.
Yeah.
Mercedes was Kiki.
Oh, okay,
Palmer.
yeah. Because then she did. She
Yeah.
was like the car.
Yeah, yeah. And then the other girl, the white girl, the girl who threw up. That's all.
Oh, I know. Tracy was all like, "Where did they get?" They had an idea for Brittany Murphy to be in this movie, but then they couldn't, since she's passed, they just got this cheap imitation of her,
Oh my God.
right? And I'm like, and I looked at her, I was like, she do
did kinda
favor
look like
her,
it. Now that you
yeah.
say that, I didn't even pick up on that, but she did kind of.
Yeah, I didn't pay attention until he said
Wow.
something.
Okay, so she's sitting there in the dressing room.
Yeah, getting
Destiny Dorothy.
Yeah.
And at first, I thought that maybe this was her first night ever.
Yeah, I thought
Ever
it was too.
dancing
Like she's
at
the
all.
new. Oh, okay.
She was a new girl to
Yeah.
that club, but it wasn't the first time
she's
she'd ever
danced.
danced. It just obviously she wasn't very good.
Yeah, she.
Because we're very good at it. Because remember they go from the introduction when they introduce the girls and everything, and then they start making the rounds and they're doing a montage of all of her
clients,
that she,
yeah, that's just...
doing the whatever, the lap dances and stuff. And that one.
Did you see when she was just like bouncing really fast? I was like, what is she doing?
Yeah.
Tracy's like, you got to give the clients what they want. I'm like, I don't know if he asked for that. That was just, I was like, okay.
And her face was just like deadpan.
Yes, it really was. And then they had a scene where Cardi B is kind of introduced.
When she goes to the one dude because she's trying to get a client and everything, and she goes up there, and then as soon as she goes over there, like, hey, you want this? She grabbed her by the hand, like, no, not today, bitch.
Yeah, it's mine. Don't try to take my money. So which was, Cardi B wasn't in the she wasn't in the movie a lot.
Right.
But
which
the
is fine.
parts that she was in, I felt like she did fine.
I did.
She was herself.
She was.
It just came
That's probably
naturally
how
to
she
her.
was,
Yeah. So yeah, I
And
thought
she
she
knows
did
the
pretty
scene.
cool.
I was like, okay, I think she did good. I think she did better than a lot of people do when they're throwing in somebody else in this movie.
Exactly.
That I could have done without for sure.
We
Was
could have had more of Cardi B.
yeah, or Lizzo.
Oh
They
yeah.
coulda not.
She didn't. There was no reason for her to
there
be
was
in
no
this movie.
reason.
It
Not
just
right.
she had literally
lent nothing
5 lines.
Yeah, and she lent nothing to the movie, the story, no comic relief. I just was looking like, why is she here?
She was just there.
She
Yeah,
was.
just there.
It's like, oh, she's a name. Let's just throw her in there.
Yeah.
That was annoying.
So then, so then she goes to the manager's office, and this is really
dang.
jacked up.
It is.
I never knew this about strippers. A job is a job. I didn't know they take most of their money. And
It's like, even in restaurants, it's like people, that's why I had a problem with like the servers.
Yeah.
When they get tips, but in some restaurants they have to share it with
Yeah,
the
they make them
busboys
split
or the bartender and all this. So it's like they're not the one that dealt with the customers. That's
and
jacked up.
that is very jacked up. Like,
Yeah.
if you're gonna do that, make the bartenders have hourly
Yeah,
pay, or if somebody comes to a bar, then they tip. But like
Yeah.
you said, that's the waiter or the
Exactly.
waitress
They
money.
did the work.
And just like the stripper, like she probably took home at least only $100
Right,
if she
she
made
took-
more than that.
She took home less than half of what she made.
Exactly. And then even the freaking security guard was all like, you need protection. And and she gave him $20. And I'm like, are you serious?
Ew.
And only gave her grandma like a
Yeah.
couple of dollars
Yeah.
to,
Oh my gosh, that was-
pretty much all her money.
Yeah.
So
Oh my
I
gosh.
think that's very jacked up
that
for
is
strippers, because they are the ones that are on stage dancing and doing
Yeah,
all the work. So
right.
the manager, you get your money for the people who enter. Don't they make them pay?
Yeah,
I never been to a strip
they
club.
pay, but what they want them to do is buy them drinks. That's how they make
Exactly.
their money, through the bar. And so why the bartender getting extra now? If they come to the bar,
Exactly. Then that's
yeah.
a different story.
But no, I'm not a proponent of stripping and all that, but I mean, it's like you say, it's a business,
Yeah.
so be right.
Exactly. They treat them right.
Yeah.
Sure. Let
that
them
was
keep their
annoying. I
money.
was
It
like,
was.
dang.
So then after that, like I said, she gives her grandma the money, and then I'm just going off my notes, so I don't really remember
Well,
what
basically,
happened in
it's like
between
all that. She goes to sleep and then wakes up late in the day, and it's like starting
and then that's
all
when
over.
she sees
And
Ramona,
that's when
right?
she saw her. Oh yeah, they introduced. That's what I put. They introduced Ramona. So obviously she's the top dog there.
Yeah,
and,
she was making a
you know,
whole bunch of it.
Yeah,
Money was falling on the ground. I was all like, wait, why is she? Did somebody pick her money up for her?
Right. Like, okay, I guess. But then when she goes out there, to ask her, well, she didn't go out there to ask for a light for a cigarette because I ain't see her smoke no more in that movie.
Yeah, to me
She
though, this part was
her.
weird too because they just made it seem like they just knew each other
Right.
already.
Well, I think what she said was, and see, I think that's what happened. This was, I don't know. I think they kind of filmed this lazy in a way.
Yeah.
Because what they wanted you to do is infer from what had happened that they just this relationship, but meaning they had a, I mean, sometimes you meet somebody. I don't know if you have someone like that, but that's like something about you just become what they call fast friends.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's like, dang, you just don't know. It's just like we just have a chemistry or whatever. So that definitely can happen.
Okay.
I think it's lazy filmmaking, to be honest, because they just kind of, it's like, hey, and then she just kind of fell. And she said, what she said was, I don't think she was looking for friendship, or
she didn't expect to find friends or something.
But it just kind of, built from there. So I just think they just had a good chemistry, and then she asked for help.
They really did. I mean, the way they made the person, and I believe the girl that they were portraying, it was like her name was like Samantha something, but the way they did portray her in the movie, she seemed like a genuinely nice person.
Right.
Like, I mean, she had, her mindset was a bit off.
Right. You mean
J-Lo's, Ramona's
yeah,
character. Yeah. So but she really did seem genuinely nice. Yeah. Like she came in and helped her out perform.
No, she didn't seem like she had any malicious intent or anything like that. Definitely. She just was, she was definitely about. And even when she broke down for her, after she started showing her, the moves and all that stuff so she could get better, when she started breaking down for her about how to make money and what she said, and it was kind of true.
Yeah.
Basically, she's saying, look, these are people, these Wall Street dudes who basically cheat people out their money all the time. So
why should we feel any different about them?
Right.
And that is true. She did make a lot of good points.
Right.
Like I said, her
absolutely.
mindset, the way she went about it was wrong, but the way she was thinking was right. Like
right. She had the right idea. Overall, she's like, we're not, they're not victims. You know what I mean? They're doing people every day.
Exactly.
And it's funny. Well, we'll get down to it because of what happened. Of course, 2008 is a good indication of that very idea. And this is why it happened, because of greed. Basically. So
she got too greedy.
So she's helping her, showing her all the ropes, and they start working together.
Yeah.
And doing their, little thing.
And she helped her. She was like, let's make money together. We're doing it by ourselves. We could team up and
that's
get
when I
these
wasn't
guys
sure,
together.
because I was like, she got some ulterior motives.
Right. Take her money and but now she was,
no.
And I felt like her character, Ramona, to me, she was mama in that club. Like, she took care of all the girls.
Right.
Made sure the girls were good.
Yeah.
She talked to them when they were down and everything. So that's how she came off to me.
Yeah, I would agree definitely. So now they're just, Destiny's starting to make money. Coming home, bringing her grandmother
wads of cash. Even got her own place.
Things started looking up, and then she got the boyfriend. So she was in love and yada yada yada, and then and her and Ramona just got closer and closer as friends and all that. And it's like, she's living the life. She got her car.
Yeah, she was doing good.
They were doing real good. And then the whole 2008 the crash of the real estate market happened.
Oh, forgot to mention when Usher made an appearance.
Oh,
yeah.
Again, another cameo that
Right,
could not. I mean,
Tracy was like, "What is he throwing? Usher bucks again?"
I'm like, again, okay. Obviously, I don't understand this lifestyle at all. So I digress in terms of judging whether that seemed like
necessary,
or
yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
I mean, I'm sure. Because these people, these famous folks, they go to the strip clubs and stuff like that. So that might be what do you say? A realistic scene.
Yeah.
Because as they said, all the girls were up on stage.
Yeah, Lizzo's character when she's like, Usher's here, guys.
Yeah,
so they did. They all ran on stage. They were all there, which it didn't seem like that big of a stage. It seemed a little crowded.
Yeah.
To me.
Because I don't think it's supposed to be that.
Right? Every single girl was on the stage. Like, did they split all of that money?
Yeah, like they just knew they're going to be throwing all kind of money.
Exactly.
I don't know. So it's like, I don't know. Sometimes, like I said, I think they take a shortcut to giving you information or trying to get you to understand the impact of that moment. Okay, they got this huge celebrity, so they have to pull out all the stops. Whatever it is, I don't know. So it's like, oh, he wants to see everybody, or exactly. Yada yada, and then that little cheap line, oh, what's your name?
Oh yeah,
Ursha, baby. I'm like, oh my god,
like, ooh,
that was the most that.
I think we all rolled our eyes on that part. Like, really?
It didn't even, you know what I mean? It didn't even, how sometimes they do that kind of stuff in movies and they'll give you something because they know that people know something. That just didn't do it. I was just like, okay, that landed flat. That was unnecessary.
Exactly.
But, whatever.
So, so then the 2008, everything, like you were saying, everything crashed.
Everything crashed. So obviously people didn't have money to be
in the strip clubs no more.
Yeah. And so things start going bad. Then her and the boyfriend, she got a kid.
Yeah, she ended up getting pregnant.
Because they showed us, they took us back to 2011 now. 4 years later.
It just keeps going back and forth.
Yeah. But I mean, just the results of all of that.
Yeah.
And that's, and that was pretty accurate. I mean, that was, I remember. It was a terrible time. I was working in real estate, and it was horrible.
Yeah,
so everybody suffered.
Yeah, she ended up quitting being a stripper, and she tries to get a regular job.
Yeah, because nobody was coming in there, and then the boyfriend fall out, and he leaves, and then she's like, I gotta make some money, and then
she calls up this old guy that she used to mess with or give him lap dances because she learned from Ramona. She learned how to finesse her way through men. Like, she was studying in the strip club. He's like, wow, I'd never seen that before. Then she started finessing him. He ended up buying her a laptop. For her to be in school. And so she gives him a call.
Yeah, because that's what she was telling her in the beginning. She said, and this dude right here, this is the one that pays my rent. And this is what, so she showed her.
Yeah.
She showed her the ropes.
Showed her everything. So,
that's crazy.
And he ended up being married. So, and she was like, you know what, forget this. She just hangs up. And then she starts working at the same strip club, or was it a different strip club?
No, she did go back to the same one.
It was the same one?
It was like none of the girls were
there. Okay,
and I remember because the lady mom, I don't know if she had any other name because I just called her mom. And she was working behind the bar, remember? She's like, what are you doing here? She's like, things have changed. They got all these Russian girls. And they're giving BJs for $300 and then that scene after that.
When she was giving her lap dance and the dude was just all like, like, come on, just do it. And she's like, nah, we're not supposed to do that. He was all like, look, I'll give you some money.
I'll give you $300.
Yeah,
and then he pulled out the 3 bills.
Put it on.
And then she just did it.
Gave her a little bit of, coke to snort. And she gave him a hand job. That's what I was guessing. It was a hand job, right?
I don't know. Was it?
Because he said just to rub it.
He said it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But whatever it was, it wasn't $300. It was $320s.
Exactly. Which I felt like she should have counted that before. Like, if you're gonna do that, I'm pretty sure you need to make sure.
Her. That's why he said, "Oh, here."
Oh, and gave her that. Yeah.
And then she's like, well, I better take this while I can. And then.
And then this is the part where there's like a little bit back, we found out that she is being like she's telling a story to a reporter.
At first, I was like, "What is this? A therapist?"
Yeah,
because that's what I thought. And
or I thought it was like maybe like the police or something that she was talking to.
But then after a while, when she went back to it, and she said something like, "Well, did you talk to? What did you ask, have you talked to Ramona?" Or she said no. She said something, and she said, "Well." Ramona says this, and she was like, "Oh, you talked to her?" Mm-hmm. And she's like, "Well, yeah, I mean, this is a story I'm doing, so I'm trying to talk to as many people." So I'm like, "Okay, she's a journalist. Okay, so now I get it," because I wasn't thinking about the fact that this was based off of an actual article that was written in the. What was it? Was it Vanity Fair? I can't remember. But it was a magazine that this was an article. So this movie is based
off
upon
a true story,
this article and based on those events. But, and then that's when she sees Ramona.
Yeah.
And Ramona, and then remember they pan to her and Mercedes.
Oh, yeah, because they're working at some retail place. And Ramona, she's trying to finesse the manager to leave work early on Fridays. Yeah. First, she said the rest of the year. And he was all like, the rest of the year? No.
Said, the school year. My daughter, she gets out early on Friday.
And he's like, am I the daughter's father? Yeah. Then why should I care?
He did not care. He was like, I don't care how cute you are. No.
Exactly. He told her, maybe if you stop leaving work early all the time, you could make some money.
Because she said she couldn't afford it. That's what it was. I was like, oh, he is a douchebag.
He really was.
He did not care. So then they just basically walked out. They were like, they decided to go back to the club, right?
They go back to Mercedes. The club. Mm-hmm. And then she sees the white girl, I don't know her name, but she sees her on the floor crying, and she's asking her, like, what's going on? And she says she told her parents what she did, and they kicked her out.
Right.
And so then Ramona is just talking to her, and then she's like, let's go fishing.
Right.
And then they explain what fishing was, and what fishing pretty much was they would go out to bars, the same bars, might I add.
Yeah.
That was dumb to me.
I don't know if they meant that as a thing, except they just used that as the scenery set wise.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Okay, I would hope so.
But I'm like, come on, we're supposed to believe that these eventually, even the people who work there are gonna be hip and be like,
catch on exactly.
They will. They trying to scam people or something like that.
So they would go and find these. They would be on the lookout for rich men, and they target married men pretty much. They're like, that's where the money is at with the married men, and get them pretty much drunk, take them to the bar. Take them back to the strip club, and then have them spend at least $5,000 at a strip club, and then the girls plus the club will split the money with them.
Right.
And
that's what they were doing, trying to drum up business for the club, essentially. Yeah. So they're now like, what do you call them? They're the what do you call the person that they're like
the promoters?
Kind of like that, or the middleman, so to speak. Using their feminine wiles to get these men in here, so they would spend more money in the club, which still means more money for them. So they started making good money again.
Yeah.
And that girl, I remember that's the one, and that's why I was saying she kept throwing up.
Oh yeah. Every time she got nervous,
like,
she's sorry. But I think because at first too, she first threw up because they thought they killed a guy.
Right.
Now, this is when Ramona starts drugging people.
Right.
I don't know if we're going in order, but it's okay.
Yeah, I know, because it
right. We're just talking. It really was, but she started drugging people, and she was telling them, like, it's all right. Like, this is how she made them think it was okay too. Right. It's okay. They're gonna do it anyways. We're just giving them a little help.
Right.
But no, Ramona, because you're not letting them know. Like, that's where the illegal part happens. Like, you're just flipping this, drug in their drink, and then
so that they didn't want them like, knocked out, but they wanted them to be not
there.
Not caring
exactly.
and aware of what they're doing. They're just quote unquote having a good time.
Exactly. And like you said, they're making so much money, but this kind of made me mad though too, because did you not learn the first time when you guys were making all this money, and then the 2008 stock market
Right,
crash, and
right,
now
right.
you're broke.
Yeah.
But now you're just spending there. They are really
Ooh, they
spending
were
money, like
spending
going
big
shopping.
time.
Yeah,
Oh my
with
gosh.
clothes that cost like $1,000 a piece. Like
Unnecessary stuff.
exactly. Like she's buying a big old house. She bought on Christmas. She bought Dorothy or Destiny.
Yeah, the
a chinchilla coat.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
You have a whole child right here.
Right.
How are you buying all these? Like, if anything, I'm going to spoil my daughter before I spoil another grown woman.
Exactly. Yeah, and that was all that they were. So I guess that was the thing they wanted us to see, that they had this sisterhood. I guess.
Yeah, they were a
and
family.
This is where, that's what I was saying earlier. It's the kind of that was disturbing for me. It's like the tone in which the movie is kind of directing you to be, like they're the good guys and you're rooting for them, even though they're doing some dirty stuff.
Yeah,
it's like it's just although, and even though she even reiterated, these guys do this, that, and the other, but it doesn't make you right.
Exactly, it doesn't make it
that.
okay.
Right.
I can see if they were drinking with the dudes, brought them back to the club, and was all like, "Ooh, party favors,"
Right.
and then the guy was like, "Oh yeah, give me some."
Right.
That's different.
Right.
Then okay, take the money.
Right,
But
right.
you're just drugging this
You
guy
are
without knowing
unbeknownst to them,
exactly.
dumping something, and then they were worried because one of them, right?
I know someone called her, and I guess Ramona was the one who handled all the calls.
Right. Oh yeah.
Yeah, because there was one
complaining.
Dude, he was like, how did I spend all this money and you guys robbed me?
You had a good time.
Yeah, I guess he was all like, no, like that's not cool. She's like, what are you gonna do? Go to the police?
Right.
Like, and tell them that you spent this much money at a
At
strip
a strip
club.
right.
And that's how she got.
Which is why they liked the married men, because they're the ones that had stuff to lose. Exactly. And they didn't want to get this stuff exposed and all that stuff, which is why they were able to get away with it for so long.
Yeah.
Because if you got a young single guy, he don't got nothing to lose, so you're not going to get as much, but you get somebody who's got something established, a life, a family, some kids, this could be big time for them. And so that's why it worked. But and then they started recruiting more girls.
Yeah, and to me that was, and then I do agree with Destiny in a way, because Destiny has been telling Ramona, like, we don't need other girls, and she wanted to recruit other girls because this is when Ramona started getting greedy.
Yeah, she said, "Oh, we got so much." Like, we got so much work. We need more workers now.
Exactly. Like, if girls are going to be busy, we need people to fill their spots. So like you said, they recruited girls, but the 3 girls that they recruited, okay, that was cool. But then when she recruited more girls, and Dorothy was telling her, like, you need to make sure these girls are not on any drugs.
Yes.
You need to
and
make
then
sure
they're the first one of the girls who walked
like
in there
or something.
was all jacked up. Remember when they were at the mall? She was already jacked up.
She already sniffing. She's like, oh, I told her I'll buy her lunch. Like, okay, like I'm still gonna buy her something to eat.
Oh my gosh! But then there was that one other white girl.
Yeah, when they got desperate, pretty much. Yeah. So, but yeah.
Oh, and then things start falling apart. Basically.
Pretty much, especially after they hire, like you said, that last white girl they hired. Her name was Dawn.
Dawn. Okay.
Yeah, and
before that though, remember things got out of hand. Just like whatever happened with that guy that Mercedes was with.
Oh, yeah. She was all like, yeah, because she got called over, and she was all like, he said he could do it, and I told him he couldn't, and he did, and he just jumped and fell.
Well, he didn't make it in the pool.
So, Destiny is panicking. She's like, did you call Ramona? Like, Ramona's not answering. Yeah.
And what was it? Because she gave her some lame excuse. What was it when she said she didn't answer? And I never.
I know she was with Dawn. I don't know what she said, but I do know she said Ramona wasn't there because she was too busy helping Dawn get out of jail.
That's
or something.
What it was.
Yeah,
that's what it was. Yes, and it would have to
Dawn.
It's
been a habit of Dawn
right.
going to jail, like So, and she would just still hold on to her.
Did you notice something? Mercedes, what she had on. Remember early on that she said she wanted to start a swim. Ramona.
Oh yeah, she had Ramona's. Yeah, I did notice that.
On the denim.
Yeah, she did a bathing suit. Yes, I did notice that. And then they got the guy. So they grabbed the guy, put him in the car.
Oh my god.
And then they was going to drop him off at the hospital. So this was kind of funny to me because Mercedes was all like, just leave him here. And then Dorothy was like,
she's like, no,
Destiny,
I gotta,
we're not going to leave him here. We got to take him inside.
Right.
She's like, no, I'm not going to do it. And she ran.
Just like that with that denim swimming suit and them stripper shoes.
Yeah. And Destiny was just all like, seriously? And then, kudos to her because she's like, yeah, my husband, help. Oh my gosh. Like,
they come get him and they rush him in and she starts straightening up and
right?
drives off. I'm like, oh my God.
And then she went to pick her daughter up.
Right.
And then dropped her daughter off at school. But she had blood on her stomach and then on a white shirt.
Looking at her.
I'm like, girl, they're about to call CPS on you and take your daughter from you. Like, what are you doing?
Yes.
You should have just went up there with your bra on.
Okay.
Like,
she was just like, she didn't care, running just like nothing. She just going from one thing to the next to the next. It's like, oh, I got to get her to school. It's like, girl, you better go. You might need to take the day off.
Exactly. Go change.
Off.
Go do something. And then she gets home, and it's sad. She finds her grandmother dead in the chair, and she already knew. She just looked at her grandma and just started crying.
Yeah.
So that was sad. And then. While everything was going down with the hospital stuff like that, she did call Ramona and was like, "Don't ever call me again.
Yeah,
I don't want to speak to you." So Ramona does come to the funeral.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of insensitive though.
It makes you wonder. What it made me wonder because you didn't really get much background on Ramona.
No, you would just know that she has a child,
right?
And that's it, really.
But you don't really know how she got.
Yeah, how she started and everything.
And all that stuff. I mean, you get the idea that Destiny was trying to help her grandmother.
Yeah,
more than anything, and it was a survival thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, what is it with this girl? Like, what even brought her to this? Because she was sensitive to certain good things, but she was also kind of not, I wouldn't say insensitive, just, what's the word I'm looking for? She was just kind of indifferent to certain things. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay, that's sad. Anyway.
Yeah.
Let's go. She's about whatever, she's about, and it's not intentional.
Mm-hmm.
That's what so you look at that character and you're not thinking she doesn't just not care.
Yeah, because she did. She was just all like, she was rubbing her hair while the girls were playing. Mm-hmm. And she was all like, well, there's a job tonight. You could come if you want. You take your mind off of it, but you could stay at the house with me and my daughter and, get your hair cleared. But, if you want, you could come do this work with us and you wouldn't even be.
And it makes sense how she is that she would say that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I know this has happened and I know. So if you need to,
if you need the money.
I'm going to just go ahead and throw this out here,
Yes.
And so you kind of get the idea that what happened for Destiny over time is she's just like, she don't care enough.
Yeah.
And she's a different kind of person. You know what I mean? That she definitely had a little more caring. She was in it though. Mm-hmm. I mean, she was in it to win it because she was trying to, make money to help take care of her grandmother and kid and stuff like that. But you know that she, ultimately this wasn't what she was shooting for.
Yeah.
So, what happens after that? Because
we get to Dawn. The job that they do, they keep doing their jobs, and then they meet a guy named Doug. So Destiny was talking to Doug, and she kind of like, I wouldn't say enough to. She has a sort of soft spot for him because. He's a single dad. He just got divorced. He's trying to take care of his son. He just moved. Him and his son just got a place and all this other stuff.
Because he had his house had caught.
Yeah.
Fire. He had
they set the house on. Yeah, exactly.
That had happened.
So they drugged him, took advantage of him, and stole his money. And it wasn't even his money. It was his
corporate card.
company corporate card. And So he
got investigated by his job.
And he lets Destiny know, like, like my job fired me. I'm under investigation. How could you guys do this to me?
Right.
And
he
she's
was
like,
can you just put the money back?
Yeah, put the money back, please. And like my house and my son, what about all this stuff? And then Ramona's telling Destiny, like, hang up the phone. Oh, yeah. And she's like, no, like, just wait. And so now they're fighting over the phone. And we see an ugly side of Ramona that we haven't seen. And, she snatches the phone from Destiny, hangs it up, and calls her, she's like, you little ungrateful bitch. Yeah. And then, like, just walks away. Yeah. And Destiny was all like, what was that?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
So,
friend much.
Exactly. So they're still doing, like I said, they're still doing their thing or whatever case. And then Dawn fucks up. And the guy, Doug, because Doug is calling the police. The police is not trying to hear it. He calls back because he calls them, and then the police officer hangs up. Right. And then he calls back. He's all like, I have proof. Right. And they was like, okay, well, if you got proof. Right. So now the police is involved. In other words, they're just saying, oh, you mad. You've been giving all your money to these He's like, I've been drugged and robbed. Like, no, this has actually happened. Right. So they find Don. I don't know how. Dawn, did he talk to Dawn first? Because they didn't show that, how she got involved. I don't know how they got her, but they picked her up. Mm-hmm. Well, and probably because she's got a record. Okay, you know what I mean? Yeah. And she was like, I can't go back to jail. She's had this whole thing where she keeps having to be bailed out of jail. Yeah. So, and I think that's what it was. So it's like now it's the rubber meets the road for her because it's like, okay, you're going to kind of help us out, or you can just go back to jail. Exactly. And she's like, I can't go back to jail. So she tries to set them up. Well, she does a bad job at it. I mean, Ramona is so oblivious that she doesn't even notice. But Destiny has been on Dawn ever since they met. Yeah, I was going to say Ramona, funny enough, she's the brains of the whole operation. But when it came to judgment of people, she wasn't good with it. I would say with the women. With the men, she had men down pat. You know what? It was back to that thing you said. She was kind of like that nurturing. The mother. She always was giving all of them, because I mean, obviously, most of them are going to be coming from circumstances that are not great, which is 9 times out of 10 why they're even there. Yeah. So she took that role, like, I'm gonna, like, look out for these girls. I know they have. So I think it clouded her judgment. She didn't look at it like, but they can also be running game on you. Yeah, exactly. So that was her downfall. Yeah, because when they walked into, Destiny was just all like, I don't know about this. Yeah. And then, they got the guy there, and Destiny pulls out the drugs and she puts them on the counter, and Dawn was like, okay, put it in. Destiny's all like, your guy, your client, you do it. Yeah. And she was just like, and then so Destiny's telling Ramona, like, clumsy. She's setting us up. We need to go. Like, she's like, she's not. Like, she wouldn't do that to us. Like, and obviously she was wrong. And the way they got her, they got Ramona and Mercedes, because when they started, once they did the setup and all that stuff, and then and remember what's her name? She throwing up again. This was that was that same. Okay, I'm still talking about the thing after the swimsuit. I can't get off that swimsuit. But I forgot what's her name. Dawn had thrown up after that too. So when they get Ramona, where was she at? Oh, at Ramona, the ATM. She was pulling out money at the ATM. But it's the before she's walking down the street. Hey, you right? I'm Jenny from the block. Good on. Hey, what's up? Yeah, I'm just going to the ATM. What's up? Gets her money and boom, turns around. All these cops with their guns drawn are right there at her. It was just like, okay. And then the next one I think was Mercedes. It was Mercedes. And Mercedes was kind of funny because Mercedes is getting married to her boyfriend that's in jail, and they've been going back and forth. Like, she's stripping to support him pretty much because he needs lawyers and everything. Right. So she leaves from visiting her boyfriend. She's like, bye guys, bye. She's like, I'm glad I see you, because when I see you, that means I get to see my man. And she goes right when they open the door, but all these police officers are outside. She's like, oh shit. Gosh. She looks back at the dude, and then they get the other girl who favors Brittany Murphy,
Yeah.
they get her, and before they get her, Destiny sends her a text message, and it says "run."
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then she's all looking
She's
like,
like, what, run?
and they didn't even knock on her door.
No,
they
just
just
came in.
busted right in her house, and then right when she gets arrested, she throws up. She's like, sorry.
That's what so that's what I'm saying. You know how, so, I mean, this whole thing, if you think about it, this is very serious. I mean, because here's the thing. They could have killed people with these drugs.
No,
they didn't
yeah,
know
they
what the hell
really
they was doing. Number
exactly.
one, remember when they were testing?
Oh yeah,
they
that
were
part
trying
was funny to me. They was testing, they was making the drugs, and they tested it out, and they both were passed out on the floor.
Then they got back up. Okay, let's try it this way. I was like, oh my gosh.
And it's not like they was putting a little drop in there. They was like really,
emptying the thing out. I'm like, oh
they were giving these guys too much, and that's when they had that scare because the guy wasn't waking up or anything, and then he
that's
finally
when they started. Yeah, they said, okay, we gotta, change the formula or whatever. I'm
they
like,
almost killed
crazy.
2 people.
Oh my gosh, they could have killed themselves doing that stuff. But and then they got her. Was she at home when they got Destiny?
Destiny was she was at home.
Yeah, that's right. And then basically they were just like, okay, you can give us, the information that we need.
Because she thought the other girls were going to tell. But
basically threw it up,
you got kids. What about your daughter? You want your daughter in an orphanage and all that stuff. So they pretty much got her to come clean. And then, when they all leave, Ramona's talking to Destiny and was like, we need lawyers. We need this and that. And Destiny was all like, look, I made a deal. And Ramona was pissed. Like, you did a deal. Like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? And then Ramona said earlier in the movie, like, having kids is a mental illness. Because you're going to do anything for them.
That was the one thing. That was a crazy statement, but I got it.
Yeah. It's just like, because you will. You do anything for your kid. Like, no matter what it is, you will do it.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
that's crazy.
And that's what she said. Okay.
Yeah, that was.
I was like, she was. Well, a lot of the stuff that she was saying made sense.
Definitely.
She just would have done it the wrong way.
They parted ways, basically.
She wasn't. That's what she wasn't mad at her. She didn't take no fall. She just gave her a hug and left.
Yeah, and then remember she asked the reporter. She was like, so, you were talking to her. So, what did she say? What did she say?
Yeah, what else
me?
did she say about him? Because she kept pressing her, like, well,
she
what did she
her.
say? Yeah,
That's
what did she say?
She called her out the blue, like 2 years later after the article. And just like, and then she told her that whole story where she had pulled out. She said when she
keeps a picture of her in her wallet.
It was a picture from when she was young too, and she was like, "This is the little." And then that's when she called her Dorothy that time, didn't she? This is little Dorothy.
Yeah,
they called her.
Kept going.
So I don't know
what this girl's name is.
Because her, she comes from an Asian family, so a lot of times, how they
have their
names. So that might have
something else. Yeah.
So, but she said this. She just said that specifically, like, so obviously when she was young, they called her Dorothy.
Okay.
And I think when she got older, they
called her Destiny.
But she was like, and she was like, I really would have, I think this Dorothy and I wish I would have known her, met her then.
Yeah, she's like, we always told each other we wish we would have known each other back then. Like, maybe we could have saved each other.
Right.
Or who knows, maybe it would have been the same, but at least we would have been there for each other.
And I was like, and that was obscene to know, she's like, she really did. That was her friend.
She cared for her.
She did a lot. Her judgment about life in general was not great in terms of, not that she wasn't smart about doing stuff, but her problem was making decisions based upon good, thought process.
Yeah.
And looking at future things that can happen down the line. She was kind of in the moment.
Yeah. And because she did say too, like, she said the world is just one big strip club. There's people who are making money and there's people who are throwing the money. And oddly enough, like, when she said that, I was like, damn, that does make sense.
One way or another.
Right? I was like, oh, that does. So she just looked at things very differently. If she, like, if they were doing this, but without drugging the men, like I said, just, hey, I got party favors.
If
like, I just think let them know.
Just, how do I say, finagled them. and how you can, how you can convince somebody you're getting them to do something, but they think it's their idea.
Exactly.
Kind of thing, then it's like,
it
okay,
could have been different,
yeah,
but
they put drugs in, which could harm people.
Yeah.
And that's the crazy part. So at the end of the day, at the end of the whole thing, when you see the end part when they're saying what happened to everybody,
their sentence,
so of course Destiny didn't get anything. She did 0 time, nothing,
she snitched.
She turned over. And then what's her name, Ramona? She got like 4 years of probation.
Yeah, 5-year probation.
Yeah, she did no time. Mm-hmm. And then the other girls, Dawn and Mercedes, they did weekend.
Yeah, they had to be jail on weekend, and they were 4 years probation.
4 years, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And that was it.
So yeah, none of them got jail time, which
which was very interesting.
It really was, but there is a double standard, because if that would have been a man,
these real chicks, I'm just wondering. I'm not trying to. I'm just saying. I want to see what they are. Ethnically speaking.
Well, I think the old girl is really
Hispanic.
Not Hispanic. The Asian
one.
Asian one. Yeah, she
Asian.
really
Okay.
is. Cause I did see a long time ago when they were talking about this movie, they were doing interviews.
Okay.
My mom was watching the ID channel, and it was on there.
Okay.
But yeah, I think the other one really is Asian. But yeah, I really do feel if they had been men, it would have went differently.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
they would have got jail time. I mean, drugging people regardless is wrong. And it does deserve jail time because, like you said, there's no.
So it looks
no
like
way.
the character that. Oh, okay, Samantha. That's the one that played. J-Lo played.
Mm-hmm.
She looks like she was Hispanic.
Okay.
So she definitely looks. I just be wondering sometimes, but I'm like, that's, to me, ultimately. They got slapped on the wrist.
No, they really did. They really did. Like I said,
people.
Exactly, because they don't know if these people would have lived or died.
Exactly.
They were just trying to get money.
What they were doing.
Exactly. Like now, if they would have killed somebody, now how would that have went? Would they tried to hide? We'll go on.
Yeah. Well, I would like to think that would have been a different story. But it's just I don't know. It seemed like how does she? 4 years probation. I guess because nobody did die, and there was no overall detriment.
Yeah.
Well, it was. I mean, financially though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like something like what,
even
grand larceny.
That's
or
what I'm
something.
about to say. Even like if you still
over
over $100, that's considered a felony.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I think it's 500.
Is it $500? Oh, okay.
But still, yeah. And hundreds and thousands of dollars.
Like thousands, 5,000. What they made it seem like they was taking 5,000 a night.
Yeah, at least. For per girl.
yeah.
Because these guys were spending. They had that kind of money to spend, especially in credit cards, and that's the bad part. Because not just that, they literally put these people in debt.
Yeah.
In debt.
They really did. Like some, and then she said like, oh well, like she told one guy, well, you make more than that, so I mean, whatever. Like, what?
They just didn't have any, especially her. So this is why I think this is the problem. Now I gotta look it up because I'm like, I'm still interested in the backstory of that particular character because it's like, what is it? She seemed hell bent. It's like, oh. They get over all the time. It's like there's something like personal in that.
That's happened
you know
too,
what I mean?
yeah.
Or she just, felt like, oh, I've been used by these people. Now it's time to, and again, I can see that line of thinking, but it's like, it's that whole, the two wrongs don't make a right.
Yeah, it's just how you go about it is everything. Like she could have had that same mentality, but she just could have went about it a whole another way.
Drugging them for
exactly.
Sure. That's
she could have had one of her sugar daddies open up her own line for her. She was making
She was
all
already
that
doing
money.
that.
Exactly.
I mean, essentially.
She was making all that money, and then she was all like, yeah, but I'm just trying to get money to get my clothing line started. I feel
Right.
like if you're buying chinchilla jackets for people.
But that also points, and that's what I mean. Her overall decision-making process,
Yeah.
her ability to make good decisions was not good because she should have had that line going a long time ago. Number one,
Exactly.
she had enough money, but she was soaked up in the lifestyle of having that kind of money. So she wanted to look the part, dress the part, have all the stuff that has, all the time. Thus, having this lavish Christmas party and inviting all them over and spending
where
all
she
this money on
lived
gifts.
first, where they showed where she first lived, it didn't look like a bad house.
Right, no.
Kind of looked like she just moved into the exact same spot, but a little bigger. Like,
I mean, but that's what people's mentality is. That's the problem when it comes to money being about show and what like nowadays, because this world we live in where the internet is so prevalent. And
everybody gotta be like the people they see.
Influencers and yada, yada, yada. So it's all about looking like something or representing something. So you can't just be regular,
Which, I mean, like, it's nice that you wanna look the part, represent yourself, stuff like that. But if you don't have the money, there's a lot of clothing stores that you can go to that you can get the same stuff for cheaper or whatever.
No, but see, that's where the deficiency in her lies, which is back to why I need to know what her
backstory.
Because it's like, no, it wasn't going to be enough. She wanted to have what she felt was the best. That signified to her somehow.
Yeah, because she did mention that too. She wanted to give her daughter the best. Like it just has to be the best.
Yeah, it was about that. It was about that. It's like, in other words, like I've been on the bottom of whatever too long, and these people been up. I want to be.
Now it's my turn.
I want to be up.
Yeah, let me not worry about trying to save money or whatever.
She wasn't even thinking about that.
No, none of them were.
No, and that's how they lived. They lived as if today was all there was.
Yeah.
They did not live in such a way where they thought about, okay, now how can I use this to try to parlay myself into what's going to happen for the future?
Yeah.
I mean, she had a thought when she was talking about that swimwear.
Yeah. But that's all it was.
But she wasn't really engaged to it. She was just like, I'm living, I'm rolling, I'm balling, and I'm about to live this baller's lifestyle. And everybody going to see it. And that's, what it was. So,
who knows? Maybe she'll come out with a book.
Yeah, I know, right?
She'll come out with her own, because I did read something where she's suing J-Lo's company.
What?
For defamation
of character?
Yes.
Get out.
She's suing them for that movie. So who knows? Maybe hopefully somebody could speak to her. She come out with her own little documentary or her own little book or something, so we can.
I'm about to start digging. It's just that thing. There's some things that are annoying to me, and it's like I have to know.
Yeah,
there's got to be something. There's an untold story here. I need to know. So I'm gonna be looking for that.
Yes. I'm pretty sure if she's suing, there has to be something where she was like, "This is what it was. This is how it went."
Right. But, or she just don't like that it made her look a certain way.
But I honestly I don't think that the movie portrayed her in a bad way.
No.
Like, I mean, like, if you were drugging men, that's the only portrayal that was bad. Like, yeah, that's what you did. But I don't, like, watching the movie, I wouldn't like, oh, she's a horrible person.
And that's what I'm saying. The way they presented the movie, and that's why it was kind of confusing in a way. It's like, how am I supposed to be looking at these women?
It was,
because are they victims per se? I mean, I wouldn't say so.
If they didn't throw the drugging in there, then yeah, these men are going to.
Are we supposed to look at those men as the protagonists in this? You know what I'm saying? And they are the ones that are, because they're not innocent, though.
No, they're not.
And they're breaking the freaking law.
Breaking the law, they're cheating on their wives.
But I'm saying the women are not innocent either, and they're breaking the law by what they're doing. So it's like, essentially, I can look at them. That's why they want you to see this relationship, and that's what I'm saying. They're trying to make you love that these women have this sisterhood.
Yeah.
But the sisterhood, so
It's corrupt.
You know, I was talking about, because we were talking about it with, because Yvette's seen it, and we were talking about it, and she said it's not like saying set it off, for instance.
Yeah.
You're talking about people who come from circumstances that they were trying to overcome by, and knowing they weren't looking at it like we're doing, this is the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
This is just the only thing we know to do. We have to do something, you know.
Yeah,
or
that's
that
all
kind
they
of
can,
situation.
yeah.
So it's not that, obviously. You know what I mean? They don't look like, they're not, the way they portrayed them, it's not coming off like they're at this horrible thing in their lives, and you know, this is gonna happen.
Yeah.
So it's like, so at the end of the day, what's problematic for me about the movie is that it's like the way the movie tells a story. They're telling you they're doing all these terrible things, shysting, you know, in these ways, drugging and all this stuff. But you're like, oh my gosh, I love them. They're just such a great friendship. Oh my gosh.
Sisterhood,
Oh,
yay.
so cute. Oh, she's crying because she just really loves her. You know, so I'm just like,
I mean, I didn't feel bad for neither characters. Like even when the reporter was talking to her, she was all like, you know, I don't feel bad for these men. Like, you know, they got it coming or whatever.
Right,
and Destiny was like, well, I do.
Right.
Because, you know, some of these men have lives. Some of these men have kids and stuff like that. But I see where they're coming in both ways.
Right. And I think for her, I don't think it's meaning that, obviously, they're responsible for their actions. Yeah. That's why they're there. But the other part of it is like, does it match does the crime or the, you know, what they get match what they're doing? Okay, so they're doing some stuff. Yeah, they're wrong. You know, they're doing, you know, stuff, almost cheating on their wives or living this lifestyle, whatever it is. And then, but she's saying, how does that make it right for me to just change their entire lives? And do like what happened to that one character, the Doug character, and stuff like that. And I can, you know, so I can see that. And that's what I mean. It's like to do that and not have any thought. The thing is, they could be, you know, they're wrong for doing that, I guess. You know, sometimes they might have no problem. But the point is, whatever it is, but that is them.
Yeah.
But when you do something you literally are taking, so, because the bottom line is, if they weren't drugged, and under that particular circumstance, they would not
have spent that much money.
No. So essentially, that's definitely, you are robbing them of a lot. You know, and in some cases, changing somebody's lifestyle, to say the least.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know, and like that guy, he lost his job, everything.
His house, man. Like, it was.
So I'm like, that just kind of, that was, for me, that was the only thing. It's just like, how am I supposed to feel about them? Like,
I feel like this movie in itself, I felt like it was way too long, first of all. I felt like it was a movie that didn't need to be made. I feel like they could have left it on the ID channel.
Yeah, definitely.
We could have, because it was just like, it was dragging. Like it was just, it just kept dragging on, and it was just like, okay, like, can we get to the point? Like, they didn't even get to the drugging part until like close to the end. Yeah, like we're halfway in the movie and nobody has been.
They were trying to set up, you know, where they were before that, I guess. And why they would make it make sense as to why they were doing it.
It was just too. It was too much.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was just too long. It just felt
like,
no reason.
Honestly, I mean, it's just like that. You're already making money. I don't think. How do I say it? Yes, the drugs made you get more. That was just really it. And I think had they not done that, they would have gotten people come to the club. Mm-hmm. They probably would have made probably half of what they made, you know. So they took matters into their own hands and literally, you know, so that's the part. That makes the difference.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise it just looked like you coerced somebody to come and spend some money at the club. That's not, I would say at the end of the day, that's not illegal.
No.
It's the drugging.
It was the drug. That's exactly. That's the main factor of it all. Just the drugging part. Because they could have, like I said, just like a lot of the guys you see, one man, he already had some coke on him. So I'm pretty sure a lot of them would have been willing to, like, oh, yeah, like, you know, I'll take some.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you just slip it in, and my thing is, like, the bartender, nobody noticed that she turned around and just took something out her bra and sprinkled it in. And the bartender was there the whole time. Like, yeah, it was
And
just
a healthy amount. That was a
it was a
nice
lot.
vial full of what the heck ever compound they made.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. It didn't need to. That's how I felt. That's what I was gonna say. It was just like I could have not seen this movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I'm not gonna say it was a horrible movie per se, but it's a movie I could have not seen and I would have been perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I'm not a big J-Lo fan. There's that as well. So that wasn't a draw for me. It was just that everybody had been talking about it. You know, everybody, everywhere. You saw it. Oh, Hustlers and this and it's got all this critical acclaim, yada, yada, yada. And when I watch it, I hate that. I hate when that happens. And then I watch something that's
And
like,
it's just
okay. I mean,
like people are hyping it up more than they should.
I really think
I
it's
feel
the
like
star
too
power.
they could have told the story in a different way. They even could have told this story backwards, and it probably would have been a little better than how it started.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
But
because I mean, they literally had to, in a very upfront way, say that she was a reporter, because initially, if you saw that, you weren't going to think that.
Yeah,
like
not
I said,
at all.
at first I'm thinking therapist, and then like you said, or is it a
detective,
somebody,
looking.
But it didn't. I wouldn't have thought a journalist. So it was weird. It was weird. I was just like, whatever.
So that leaves us to: do you give this movie a yay or a nay?
I'm gonna give it a nay.
Make that 2 nays.
And that's double the nay. Just the Lizzo component just makes it a double nay. Okay, they could have really left that out of there.
Yeah, they could have left a lot
Well, they
out.
could've left a lot out.
This was one of those stories where you could have stretched the truth a bit, like just to make it a little more.
They probably did.
People are
That's the
gonna,
thing.
they didn't do it like in a good way.
Yeah, no.
Because at the end of the day, if somebody hears like, oh, this movie is based off a true story, they're gonna look it up regardless. They're gonna look it up. So just bend the truth a bit, because it was. I could have fell asleep.
It was.
I mean, I was a little tipsy last night, so I almost.
No, and it wasn't, like I said, I was just there. I'm like, I'm watching this because, well, I chose it, so I have to.
Yeah.
That was what it was. Had it been any other circumstances, I probably would have stopped watching it. It was just like, I could have literally left it at any point in that movie and been okay. And you know how sometimes you don't want to do that because you got to know what happened? I didn't even need to know what happened.
Yeah, I could have just looked it up.
Yeah, I had no real investment in none of these people.
It's like watching the ID channel and you want to figure, who killed them?
Yeah.
And you look it up, like, okay, done.
Exactly.
What happened?
I'm sorry, I tried. I was just like, tried to get us a girl flick.
It wasn't horrible. I mean, we've had some horrible ones, so
Yes.
it was better than Mary Poppins. I give you that.
Nobody can understand unless you see it, and I wouldn't even recommend it.
Oh man.
Well, there we go. I'll do better next time.
No problem. All right, guys. Well, that has been Hustlers. Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting. As always, we appreciate you guys. If you would like to get in touch with any of us, you can find me at Instagram.com/key_ingredients. Alita, where can they find you?
Okay. I mean, if you're interested or whatever, I'm at mother of 4 at Instagram.com. That's MUTHA of 4, the number. For no particular reason except I am the mother and mother-in-law of these wonderful people.
Yes.
Oh, wait. Oh, no. I do have a TikTok, though.
Oh, yes.
That's Nana's Babies. That's NANABABEE. Is it S or Z? That's because somebody took the regular one. I think it's S. Nana's Babies at TikTok. I don't know how they do that stuff. It's on TikTok.
The cute, funny videos.
My little schmoots. That's what I call them collectively.
Crazy kids.
Yes. AKA crazy kids. Other than that, I'm everywhere because I'm some crazy old person that follows my kids and grandkids around on social media. That's how I get on stuff and be like, Snapchat, I wasn't on there, and then Maya had some pictures, and she was on something. I said, you didn't put that on Facebook. That's because I'm on Snapchat now. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, now I'm on Snapchat.
Yeah, I'm on Snapchat
So
way more too.
I'm on all kinds of stuff. That's how it goes. I follow these children around. So you can find me just about anywhere. My name is Nalita Ross. So you can find me that way as well.
And if you want to get in touch with Tracy, you can find him at Instagram.com/Tracy_date night pod. And you can find us at Date Night Pod. Gosh. On Instagram.
And then you got YouTube.
Yes, then we have our YouTube channel. Check out. You could check out a lot of Tracy's podcast. It's very good.
Yes,
It's very,
absolutely.
very entertaining. Go check that out. Yes, next week my cousin will be here.
I can't wait to hear that.
So, I don't know what movie we're gonna do, but I'm excited.
I'm sure it's gonna be interesting. I love y'all.
Yeah, she's a person that speaks her mind.
Yes, very strong opinions. Yes, I look forward
And
to
I
that.
love it. I love that about her. So yes, that's gonna be it. But yes, as always, like I said again, thank you for supporting. Thank you for listening. Sorry, I don't know how to speak right now. All right, guys, have a good day, night, evening, whichever.
In my heart, you're all